Chapter 1 English Grammar Day 1 30-Day Grammar. That is a good book which is opened with expectation and closed in profit. Amos Bronson Alcott. English Grammar. English grammar is related to expressing words in their singular and plural forms. Grammar refers to a systematic set of rules of a language and structure of a language like its skeleton. It is important for language learners to understand the rules of grammar because if you use or order words incorrectly, your sentences will not make sense. Two methods of learning grammar: by using language or by learning the rules one by one, applying them. Most people use both methods together. Grammar tells us how to put a sentence together and the order a sentence should have. Different languages have different grammar. People have studied English grammar for a long time. Many of its rules have not changed for hundreds of years, but some rules are changing because the way people use English grammar is changing. Sentence. A sentence is a linguistic unit consisting of one or more words that are grammatically linked and express a complete thought. It can include words grouped meaningfully to express a statement, question, exclamation, request, and command or suggest. Part of sentences. Subject is a person, place, thing, or idea doing or being something. Predicate describes the subject. Subject, the lion, he, she, the girl in the blue dress. Predicate, rode, rides well, enjoys going to the cinema, arrived late. The lion rode. He rides well. She enjoys going to the cinema. The girl in the blue dress is the subject. Arrived late. That's predicate. Sentence fragment. Sentence fragment is not a complete sentence. Never have independent clause, but instead are dependent clauses or phrase. Fragment can masquerade real sentences because they begin with a capital letter and end with the period. It lacks the subject and the predicate, even both the subject and the predicate. Where to find the sentence fragments? Sentence fragments usually appear before and after the independent clauses to which they belong. When we got in the car, we rolled down the windows. When we got in the car are a sentence fragment and a dependent clause. It clearly belongs to the independent clause that follows it and should be rewritten like this. When we got in the car, we rolled down the windows. We rolled down the windows when we got in the car. A declarative sentence states a fact or an argument and it ends in the period. There are 10 million people at risk. I am no wine connoisseur, but I know what I like. Manila is the capital of Philippines. Interrogative sentence ask a question. It ends with the question mark. Where do you live? Can you find my umbrella? Imperative sentence is a command or a polite request. It ends with an exclamation mark or it ends with a period. The subject is usually left out and is understood to be you. Please bring my umbrella. You clear the road at once. Exclamatory sentence. Express excitement. Conveys a strong feeling or sudden emotion. It ends with an exclamation mark. You have broken my umbrella. C is the thief. That is beautiful. Four basic sentence structures. Number one, simple sentence is a sentence with only one independent clause. It is referred to as independent because while it might be a part of command or complex sentence, it can also stand by itself as a complete sentence. Simple sentence has the most basic elements that make it sentence, a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. The struggle is eternal. Joy waited for the train. The train was late. The train subject was verb. Anne enjoys took the bus. Anne enjoys compound subject took verb. Compound sentence is a sentence that contains at least two independent clauses connected to one another with a coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction is easy to remember if you think the words fanboys for F for A and N not B but O or Y yet S so that's fanboys. Coordinating conjunction. Examples of coordinating conjunction. If you have to memorize it, you have to know about this formula fanboys. Joy waited for the train, but the train was late. Anne and Joyce arrived at the bus station before noon and they left on the bus before I arrived. Anne and Joyce left on the bus before I arrived, so I did not see them at the bus station. Complex sentence is a sentence that contains an independent clause and at least one or more dependent clause. Dependent clause is similar to an independent clause or complete sentence, but it lacks one of the elements that would make it a complete sentence. Dependent clause. Because Anne and Joyce arrived at the bus station before noon, while she waited at the train station after they left on the bus. Dependent clauses, such as those above, cannot stand alone as a statement, but they can be added to an independent clauses to form a complex sentence. Dependent clauses begin with subordinating conjunction after, before, though, whenever, although, even though, unless, whereas, as, if, until, while, because, since, when, wherever. Complex sentences are often more effective than compound sentence because a compound sentence indicates clearer and more specific relationship between the main parts of the sentence. The word before, for instance, tells a reader that one thing occurs before another. The word although conveys more complex relationship than a word such as and conveys. Periodic sentence is used to refer to a complex sentence beginning with a dependent clause and ending with an independent clause. In while she waited at the train station, Joy realized that the train was late. Periodic sentences can be especially effective because the completed thought occurs at the end of it, So, the first part of the sentences can be built up to the meaning that comes at the end. Compound complex sentence is a sentence with two or more independent clause and at least one dependent clause. It combines the compound and the complex sentence. The compound part means that it has two or more complete sentences. The complex part means that it has at least one incomplete sentence. His blue eyes were light, bright and sparkling behind half mooned spectacles, and his nose was very long and crooked, as though it had been broken at least twice. Now the first day ends.